The lack of self-awareness is really truly unbelievable. So guys, yesterday in a video I talked about a judge ruling that, guess what? If you're the president of the United States, you and your administration cannot control how information gets doled out over the internet, saying that the Biden administration was in bed with Twitter, Facebook. I mean, Zuckerberg admits it on Rogan's podcast, saying the FBI came to us, they told us to censor certain things. The judge rules against it, but oh wait, the lack of self-awareness. Yes, this is America. We believe in free speech. Even if you're someone in the White House, you don't get to control how information is giving out online. The Biden administration, they filed an appeal because they think, no, you know what? We should be able to control what gets doled out. We should be able to censor things, just like back in 2020, the big October surprise, the Hunter Biden laptop gets completely censored under the guise of misinformation and disinformation. They completely weaponize those words, and they lack the self-awareness to realize that they did anything wrong. And CNN and New York Times come out and say, oh my goodness, this is so concerning. They're not going to be able to censor things they don't like. Yeah, that's the point. You should not be able to censor things you don't like, and then they dress it up and they say, oh, we're just trying to stop disinformation and misinformation. No, you're trying to benefit yourself using the guise of misinformation and disinformation. This has already been doled out. It's already been proven. You've completely censored a story that ended up being true back in 2020. There is nothing to talk about here. And then, of course, you've got Hunter Biden. Oh my God. Yeah, there's images of Hunter Biden. Daddy, what are we gonna do? They found my stash at the White House. We gotta blame it on Trump. Now they're blaming... Oh yeah, they're blaming that on Donald Trump Jr. now. Isn't that amazing? Dad, help me. They found my laptop. They're gonna turn it in. We've got to blame it on the Republicans. Call them racist. We need to call it disinformation. Help me, please. Just think about how bad of a political figure Joe Biden really is. Look at it. There's so much about Biden. I can't even begin to explain how much people hate this administration. So originally, back in 2020, Biden gets in. And remember how it was sold? Oh, Biden's the most popular president ever. He got the most votes ever. He was getting videos on YouTube disliked so much they had to remove the dislike button. I've never seen ratios like that. It's unbelievable. They removed the dislike button and they say, oh, it's because of mental health. Please, every video he was posting was getting destroyed because Biden is so mentally handicapped at this point. He can't even formulate sentences. At least there's no corruption because he doesn't really have the mental capacity to do it. Oh, but it's worse. He doesn't do any of the corruption. It's his crackhead son who does the corruption for him with communist China. Amazing. How bad of a political figure. You can't formulate sentence, you can't talk. Oh, okay, that's fine. That means there's going to be no corruption. Oh no, there's corruption. It's just his crackhead kid is the bidding man for him. It's just so remarkable nowadays. I don't know what's going to happen with Biden, whether or not they're going to have him run in 2024. I think it depends on the deterioration. Really, they only have to dress him up for what, 2 or 3, I think it's 3 debates that the Republican nominee and Biden would have before the actual election. And my guess is it's going to be Trump versus Biden. They probably want that. That's why they indicted Trump, because they don't want to face DeSantis, because they know so many independents are just going to be turned off of Trump. But either way, that is just my opinion on that. Kind of weird how calling me a cuck is supposed to offend me. I saw a video of my wife getting plowed, and I thought it was pretty hot. If that makes me a cuck, so be it. So yes, what is with this rise of these influencers who have these open relationships and expect people to just be like, oh yeah, that's totally normal, that's cool? It would be like me saying, oh yeah, I'm going on a diet and I'm eating 4,000 calories a day, but I'm going on a diet and you can't hate me and it's a diet and it's legitimate. It's like all these people that have open relationships where their wives get railed by other people and they're like, we still love each other. No, you're not in a relationship. The idea of a relationship is there's an exclusivity to it. That's the whole point. There's sacrifice. Your body might tell you you want to have a sexual relationship with someone else, but because you're so in love with that one person, you don't do that. And then all these influencers who are like, yeah, it's totally normal. We're married. We're in a relationship. Oh yeah, I'm going on a diet and I'm eating 4,000 calories a day and it's a total diet. That's what this is. We're married, but oh yeah, we're both having sexual relations with other people. Yeah, like, I mean, obviously people are going to call that out. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And then these people get all butthurt. Well, what's so bad? We love each other. Yeah, obviously you don't. You're not committing to each other. That's the whole idea of it. So I just don't understand that. How about this? Catwoman denies having any plastic surgery, cites her Swiss heritage. Yes, it makes that's normal. No, that's normal in 2023. We believe that. You're doing great. Ladies and gentlemen, body dysmorphia. If you have it, you need to go to therapy. It is no joke. It's serious. Leaked photos show Obamas were rage tweeting about oppression after the State of the Union affirmative action ruling while on board a mega luxury yacht in Greece. Ah, yes. So I think one of the things with the affirmative action, it is not a popular topic at all in America for if Democrats are trying to push this. Even in liberal California when it was on the ballot in 2020, because California's actually had affirmative action banned since 1996. Even there, it got struck down when they were trying to put it back in 2020. I do wonder what happens now with affirmative action and with some of these college admissions, because if they actually stop affirmative action for good, which a lot of people think they're not going to do, there's workarounds. You could base it off of income, base it off of cities, who do you let in? So they might try and get around it, and I think they will, because if you completely eliminate affirmative action, you're talking about graduating classes at Harvard and Yale and all these Ivy League schools, about 95%, white and Asian. And I don't think nowadays in the political climate we have, any of these colleges are going to accept it in the ESG world. I mean, take a look at the companies. Ben & Jerry's was the latest one. Ben & Jerry's entire Twitter it's like an 18-year-old socialist girl's account. It's just crazy. You're an ice cream place. What are you doing? It's all about ESG. It is remarkable, but we'll have to see what happens with the affirmative action ruling. Again, Democrats are going to have to realize this is not popular amongst independents. Independent people do not like the idea of affirmative action. It's like 70-30 total. They oppose affirmative action because it is really viewed as racist against Asian Americans. That's just the numbers. And again, even in a place like California, they put it back on the docket and it got shot down immediately. So that'll be interesting. I highly doubt they will try pushing affirmative action in the 2024 election. Whether it's Biden, Gavin Newsom, whoever it is, I think right now it's very obvious if you're talking about being presidential, Gavin Newsom would be better. He wouldn't have the incumbent advantage that Biden does, but I just don't see at this point independent people going for Biden because it almost feels like a sick joke. And one of the things I've been saying about Biden when it comes to 2024, it feels like an insult to Americans' intelligence. Like everyone and their mom knows that this guy is not running the country. He can't formulate a sentence, okay? Everyone knows that. Now, we also understand the president doesn't have end-all be-all power, but the president does have the ability to influence certain things. Biden in his current mental state is not doing any of that. So the idea that you're voting for Biden, you're really not voting for him. You're voting for people within the Democratic Party. You're not voting for a person. And obviously Democrats are going to vote for whoever they throw up, whether it's Biden, whether it's a house cat, it doesn't matter. And same thing with Republicans, understood. But when it comes to the independent people in this country, during a debate, if it's Biden, Trump, Biden, DeSantis, whoever, the reason I think DeSantis would have a much easier chance of beating Biden is because when it comes to Trump and Biden, Democrats can kind of throw out the age and say, oh, they're both the same age, it cancels each other out. Of course it doesn't. Trump has aged a lot better than Biden, but Democrats can say, listen, they're both around the same age. With DeSantis, it is completely different. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of the things that have came out about DeSantis. I think we had Van Jones calling DeSantis worse than Trump. Listen, I got bad news for Ron DeSantis. If Democrats seriously think DeSantis is worse than Trump, remember, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, they were saying Trump is worse than Hitler. If Trump is worse than Hitler and DeSantis is worse than Trump, I think DeSantis might be the devil. Like, I think that's where we're going to go next, because the cat's already been let out of the bag. The fear-mongering with Trump went so far. They called him worse than Hitler. They said World War III was going to happen because of him. Evidently, a lot of independent people end up voting for Biden because at least Biden, is not crazy, is not going to start anything. And because Biden gets in, it enables countries like Russia to get a little loose, feel a little more confident, and we end up with an invasion of Ukraine because we have such poor leadership that nobody respects. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.